Aloha, hi, welcome to another episode on my YouTube channel. This is the second to last video before I close off this six-part segment concerning a brief history of myself, challenges I've overcome, and where it has led me to where I am today, and why I think I can speak about it. So let's get started. Last time I covered the fact of motherhood, being a single parent, overcoming what I had to. At the end of each video, as you know, I do a key point review. I was talking about, I touch a little bit on domestic violence and a little bit on being a single parent, and if you want to stand for something that stand for it, because you have a little human looking on at you, and how could you tell them something when you yourself don't even have the guts to do it yourself? Anyhow, jumping into this week. This week is a special edition in a sense. I'm going to get pretty personal. I'm going to speak about one thing that I've tried for myself and two traumatic experiences I've been through all during the course of 4 years. The first one, something I tried, was modeling. After I had my son, I finally got the guts and say, you know what, I'm going to try the modeling. Modeling is a lovely field. It's a bit challenging because you have to be, even if you're a plus size model, you have to focus on your health. Because even if you maintain yourself, you maintain a healthy fat, as in that, like people that can't lose weight but it's still healthy with being big and stuff like that. So treating your skin right, having your skin routine, regular waxing and stuff like that. I really enjoyed modeling. I loved modeling, but unfortunately, when you're a single parent, it's pretty hard from getting babysitters come straight back up. And then, as I touched on before, colorism is a thing in modeling too, in the world over, and even in our sweet Trinbago. As I mentioned before, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I hesitated a bit to reveal my country because I'm not bashing my country, but we're blessed to have such a laid-back lifestyle that some things are potentially a turn-off, like we take everything for a joke. The men kind of badger you because if something gets out of the way, like you're slipping any little way, just be on your case and stuff, and that had me double thinking to do a personal blog, because my business is going to be out there and they could take it, they could manipulate it, possibly my boss could see it, my prime minister could see it, and it was a little bit of a deterrent, but you have to weigh your pros and cons. So right, I tried the modeling is based on a bit of colorism. It has from Guyana in this program I went through, where they kind of get you ready for it, but ultimately the experience was good, no doubt. That the modeling industry that I got used to, at the point in time it was free. You just paid for a jersey. I think they charge now, which, why not? They charge now. You do photo shoots and you do elements training, and they actually try to build you as a model. But as I said, colorism still exists in the model industry, and they still tend to lean to more of the traditional size of a model. I don't know if you all can see, but I'm a little thick. I'm not the traditional size of a model, and I lost some weight to do it, and I did have the opportunity to work with some lovely people to do the model, and I was happy. My friends and some of my friends and family didn't like it because they said I looked sick. So you're seeing my collarbone, my face was drawn out. They was like, you're looking sick, you're hungry, you want something to eat. But I was happy. I was comfortable in the skin again. And probably if I give it another try and I go back down, not the modeling, but if I go back down to that size, I'll be happy. And I was healthy and happy. Because I try to eat my fruits, my vegetables, I lay off the flour, lay off the rice, soft drink, juice, and I did it, and that was since I had my son. So the other obstacle I overcame was having like stretch marks and thing in the industry. You see all these girls with these tight bellies walking around and just clean and nice, and I have these little lines on it. And the thing is, I want to part of the segment and I applaud single mothers that can like capitalize off of their stretch mark with like, yeah, it's my battle scars. I bring my baby into this world. And if you have that confidence, you're a boss. I don't have it. I prefer not to have my stretch marks, and that is okay. That's my preference. But I would never disregard you because you want to embrace yours. You have that confidence more than me, you go girl. I don't have it. And that's the thing. My parents grew me up with this warped sense of reality because growing up, how I knew my mom had no stretch marks on her stomach. She literally had 5 children and not a stretch mark on her stomach. She have this kind of skin that doesn't get it. And like she doesn't get hair neither, or her legs and thing, and her hand she had no hair. That kind of, I think that's called it bottled breed in the Caribbean. My mom is a bottled breed. So I remember the first time I experienced stretch marks, I think I was working in the grocery, and I saw this lady stretch, and I saw her tummy, and I was like, I don't want to seem, I don't like to scorn people. I was like, what's that? And then soon after, my second sister had her first child, and I was the first grandchild in the family. And when I saw her stomach, I was like, that's going to happen to me too. And I was like, more than likely, because you probably got your dad and your mom's skin. You didn't just get your mom's skin. So I was like, wow. It didn't happen to me that bad because I've seen people that goes all the way up. I would still wear like high waist because I like to show off my stomach. I like when I work out, I look nice and pretty and stuff. And so I still like to look nice, a piece of my belly out. But I am not as confident as you mamas that could get it done. So I just showed a little bit that I'm comfortable showing. And I actually bounced up this designer that I put the pants high, and he was like, and pulled down the pants. I was like, he literally wanted me to model and show off my stretch marks. So he wasn't from Trinidad. He was a Guyanese. I think I still follow him on Instagram. I can't remember his name, but he's a very, very talented designer that I worked with. And he's like, no, embrace it. That's you, embrace it. And ultimately, that's what you're supposed to do. Imagine it took a Guyanese designer in the program I was in to show me that. He was like, you're fine, you're good, you're sexy, you look nice, you're modeling my thing, make sure you give some attitude in there. And it was so nice. And after this day, it was one of the best pieces I ever modeled. It was so gorgeous. And he was a lot, but I loved it. It was really good. So that was my modeling experience. And so one thing I wanted to say, if I did have the time more to fuel it, I might have pursued modeling a little bit more, a little bit harder, because it's a lovely feel. You get to experiences with lighting and color, and I think if I do get a chance again, I would, because it's a really nice feel. Something since I was small I was passionate about. I asked my mom, but if you know the history of my blog, you would know that she was very strict, very religious, and I didn't really want to do anything to hurt her. So she was like, you know, kind of show people I'm this model. You know who does probably be sleeping with this one, with that one, with the next, and you know, I don't want that for you. I you know, and I was like, okay, mommy, I get it. It's fine. But then eventually, as I say, you can't be living for people. Eventually, you need to live for yourself. So I did, and it was great. And I really experienced too much of the sleeping stuff. But in any field, big Fortune 500 companies is sleep with assistants and stuff like that to get where they're going. Anyway, you'll get it. Modeling might just have the appearance more because they're more in touch with the sexuality and being more open and stuff. So I would go back modeling, given a chance and given a time. But the schoolwork and stuff, and as I said, the single parent is usually really hard. The other 2 things I was going to touch on today is the traumatic experience. One was I don't know how to say this, but I am going to. I was sexually assaulted. And I know people would be like, that is not thing you just put out there and stuff. But I find for being in the 20th century, it shouldn't be a taboo that somebody actually speaks about it. So, yes, I was. I went out to a club, and I think that I did get drunk really quickly, which made me question my friend who I went out with. We are no longer friends. I cut him off after that. And I got drunk really quickly and I couldn't remember a lot of things that keep blacking out. Only after a few drinks and I was really confused. And I remember what I remembered. It was a weekday, mind you. So when I woke up, I know they was trying to get me inside. He didn't close my door properly. So my door, anybody once they saw how the door was ajar and it wasn't completely closed would have get the point that, hey, you get inside. So I think we reached back home sometime between 2 to 3 in the morning. I had to wake up 4 o'clock again to either catch my friend, because by that time I had this friend I used to talk to living up on my side and I used to get a drop to work sometimes. And what happened is that I woke up minus my lower half and my door was open. I woke up 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, that day my son wasn't home, obviously. So, and that was when I was now starting my online classes. I was now starting school. And my money was missing. They stole my phone. I had money hidden in the bedroom. That money was gone. And I had my money in my purse for my registration for school. So they stole all of that and I just woke up so out of it. I had a second phone they didn't manage to find because they couldn't steal. And it so happened my laptop was right underneath an envelope. But you wouldn't really move an envelope. And that was a really pricey laptop I had. It was a touchscreen. It was a touchscreen, either HP or Samsung or something like that. So I was like, you know what, small mercies, and then getting flashbacks. And I just started to get ready really quickly to go to work because I know I had to go to work. At that time I had a kind of a tyrant for a boss, so I didn't want to afford to miss any days of work. So I just hurry up and gather myself and get ready to go to work, and then little flashes keep coming back to me, and I was like, I was raped, like heading up to Port of Spain. I was like, I was raped, and I felt sick. I felt, eventually I couldn't focus on work. I eventually had to go tell her, and I didn't tell her, I just told her I was robbed last night, and I fell asleep and the door wasn't closed properly and they came and steal, which was true. I didn't tell her the whole story. And I was like, I really need to go to the police station back home and say what I have to say. And on my way down, I called one of my friends. It's very protective of me. And I was like, and he was like, tell me that's not so. Like, tell me, come now. What are you saying? Some more. But I haven't spoken to him since that day. He's tried reaching out to me. I haven't. And it's been hard. And because of that, I had to go through the entire process. The rape kit where they swab you and it kind of feels like a pap smear you're getting. I had to join a clinic that technically doesn't exist because of the confidentiality of the patients, which is ultimately an AIDS clinic. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but usually when you have a sexual assault, you have to go on, I think it's antiviral medications, which is just in case the person was a HIV positive person. If you start to take the medication within 24 to 72 hours, and you take it for over the course of like a month, around a month or so, it's like diminish your chances of getting the virus. So I had to go on that virus. The main tablet was like kind of biggish yellow tablet. Then it had a white. Then they gave you a blue one for infections. And they gave you the small orange gravel for upset feeling because you was upset a lot. So I was on this regime of tablets, and they say ultimately this is what people with AIDS take every day. So I walked in the shoes of an AIDS patient for about a month. And it was the worst. The tablets get you sick, you lose your appetite. But this one time I was on work, and me and one of my female friends that I work with, we were kind of at odds, we weren't talking. She's like, why are you not talking to me? What's going on? I remember I was like, I didn't want to tell anybody. I was so scared how people were going to view me, like, you know, you're being reckless, you're getting drunk and you're getting raped and stuff like that. I know people could be insensitive, so I didn't want anybody much to know. And right as she was there, I was just like, pass me the bin. And I was like, blah. Full thing of it, because if you take the tablets too fast, if you drink too much water, anything. And if there's one thing I could commend my country on, is how they treat people with such. Most of the times in the clinic, they treat you really good. When they come and check up to see, okay, yeah, they screen it to see if it's showing up in your blood still, But long story short, no, I don't have it. I didn't. Long story short, I don't have it. I didn't have it. I don't have it. But it was a precaution I needed to take, and I took it. I took the medication. I lost weight on the medication, and it was a scary time. So I remember this one time I had to go to the accident and emergency. I have little breathing issues sometimes, wheezing, asthma and stuff. So when they asked me, they was like, you're on any medication? I was like, well, yeah, and I had to show them, because if something doesn't work, all the medication. I remember the girl came down, she was standing up and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? How long you found out you had it? I was like, what? Wait, but I was like, no, I don't have it, or I don't know if I have it, but it was a SA. They referred to it as a SA, sexual assault. I was like, no, it's a SA, it was a sexual assault, it wasn't. And I'd confirmed to have it as the preventative measure that are taken. And if there's one thing healthcare workers do, well, the ones I've been in encounter with, do have a soft spot when they know, like, kind of like a terminal illness, there is no cure or whatever, and I had to deal with that. And they usually, when you're dealing with it, they are very serious, like, okay, and everything's gonna be okay. Because I remember this one time I was really sick, I couldn't get to take it, and I called a clinic that specializes in that in the country, in Port Spain, and they were speaking so, they was like, listen, whatever you do, just take that yellow. They said the blue not important, because the blue was important, but the white and the yellow for the HIV and AIDS virus, that one is much more important. So they was like, you don't have to take the blue, because the blue might upset you. Just take the yellow and take the white. Make sure you take it. And that was just over the phone. They just know it, and it's like, listen, just make sure that go down in your system. Don't let too much of a time lapse. Make sure that gets into your system. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do this, because I'm not going to be sick. I'm going to survive this, and I'm going to be okay. So it was a road. Ultimately, I remember the last day I had this kind of crazy old nurse. I think it was a short East Indian nurse working in the clinic, where they would test you. You'll go and get your medication in the dispensary, and they'll test you. And technically, the clinic doesn't exist because of the confidentiality. Because I remember asking a healthcare worker where this place was, and she worked in the hospital. She was like, we don't have that here. So it's on a need to know basis. You need to know, you would know. And I remember the last day going to get my results, and I was like, she said, you're good to go, clean bill of health. And another situation arose over there involving one of the police officers liking me, and it's not worth divulging into. Ultimately, I had an effect on an officer and tried to pursue me, and then ex came back in the picture and was calling me because he liked me, and even though she had a boyfriend. The purpose of my blog is not to make out anybody or anything of the sort, so I don't want to sound mean, but we'll just leave them as nameless, eventless. But it didn't impact me, because I think, okay, maybe I went through all this because I really like the police officer, very educated person, had a degree like in some kind of science, something. He had a degree in, a very smart person, and that affected me too, because I grew close to this person kind of in a time I needed it the most, and it didn't end well. And to this day, I don't really speak of it, I don't speak on it, and I don't speak to them. Sometimes that's the best route you could take, but it was a difficult time. So, key points to note off of this. One, sometimes life unfair. Nobody deserves any kind of sexual assault, and I don't know if you would remember in one of the earlier episodes I was talking about how it's hard being a single parent and you're really tempted to do anything possible, and for a moment I was tempted with stuff like prostitution, because it's like one of the easiest ways you could make money. Although illegal, you could find a way and I make a lot of money. But I was blessed to have friends in my life that helped me find other ways of making money, because I don't like handouts. I'll work hard for mine. I'll stay up 4 o'clock doing accounts and spreadsheets and stuff, if I could say I did it my own. So as I was saying, imagine people that had to go through prostitution and had to go through this. It'll take a toll on you. And to this day, sometimes it affects me. I don't let it try to affect me that much, but it does. So as I said, the key point in this episode was that life is not fair, but it's times like these when you're going through stuff like that, you gotta put on your cape, fly out, and you're rolling with the punches. So you gotta be a superman, you gotta be a superwoman, you have to be strong, especially when you have a child. You have to be very strong and try your best to get through this, because you have little humans depending on you. You have your siblings depending on you, have your parents, you have somebody to live for. Trust me. Somebody don't even know you're living for, you have to live for them. So life not fair. We get dealt some bad cards, but we get dealt some bad cards, we roll with the punches. And if there's one thing I can applaud my country when it comes to issues like that with HIV and stuff like that, how they're genuine and understanding and loving, I give my country a thumbs up for that, because it's not something easy to go through, and you're helping them go through it. And also with the modeling, if you want to try something, give it a try. So because I go by the mantra, I tried it wasn't as successful as I thought, but it's better to try and fail than fail to try. Because I would always think about it like, I really wanted to model and never tried. What if? Right now, even if I do get the opportunity, more than likely I will take it too and try how best I could juggle my time and stuff. Better to try and fail so you can live with the satisfaction that you did, than fail to try. You can never beat back that regret after. So better to try and fail than fail to try. And sometimes life gives us some real messed up cards, but we have to find a way to make it work, and you have strength within yourself. So it was a special episode. I open up to you, my followers and my subscribers, a little bit more, and that is one of the things that made me the strong person I am today. So I will see you guys next 10 days, next week and a half, to discuss my final episode in this set of episodes with my blog. So see you then.